3 here on page 3, we're going to be thinking about metric prefixes, which hopefully you saw when you did your warm-up. And the why for this, we're going to be working with a lot of these metric units in lab in general, so you need to make sure you understand them. And then the third one there with your target, you need to make sure by the end of this you can work on correctly solving these conversion problems using these prefixes. I know you've done them since like middle school. Maybe it's one thing that's always thrown you for a loop though and you haven't gotten it. Hopefully this last time of reviewing it will help you get there, so that way you can do it well when we get to measuring some things in lab. So in this middle column here, the first thing I have listed is this is what I know you're used to seeing since middle school, but King Henry died unfortunately drinking chocolate milk. So K for kilo, H for hecto, D for deca, U for the base unit, D for deci, C for centi, M for milli. Okay, and the pictures here, so the King Henry died unfortunately drinking chocolate milk. Okay, it says unexpectedly here. I've heard it both ways, so unexpectedly is fine. So if we look at these in terms of what they are, so you can see kilo's the biggest of them, milli's the smallest of them, and they're kind of everywhere in between. Notice that everything's based off the number 10, okay? So practice converting between them. We're going to use this to help us, okay? Now, I know you've heard this before that you want to start with your decimal point, okay, where it should go between these, and then move it either way, okay? And that's the way we're going to go over it. So first thing here, we're looking at 5,070 milliliters to liters, okay, as our first example. So we're going to start by writing this out because this is what helps people. So King Henry died unfortunately or unexpectedly drinking chocolate milk, okay? We're starting with where we are, okay, and what we're trying to get to. So we're trying to get from milliliters to liters, okay? So we're going to start with our decimal point behind M for milli. We need to get it to the U, okay, because that's the base unit of liters. So to get from milli to the U, we move it left 1, 2, 3 places. So here's my decimal point here. I move it left 1, 2, 3. So it goes between the 5 and the 0, okay? So I end up getting 5.070 liters, okay? Next one we're looking at is grams to kilograms. So again, I'm going to write out KHDUPCM. Grams would be the base unit. Look, I have it listed there, grams, meters, or liters. So I'm starting with the U behind it, and I'm trying to get to the K, okay? Behind the U to behind the K. So I need to go left, 1, 2, 3 to get there. So I moved it 3 places left, 1, 2, 3 to get from the U to the K. So I need to do the same thing. So I start with where my decimal point is, 1, 2, 3. So I would fill in this first one with a 0. So I get decimal point 0, 2, 2, 5, 8. Okay. Because I had to move it behind the U to behind the K. So 1, 2, 3 places. So I started my decimal point. It has to go left then 3 places. So 1, 2, 3. Okay. The next one is kilo, the base unit itself. So KHDUPCM. I start behind the K and I'm trying to get to the base unit for U because up here are meters. Okay. So to get from the K to the U, and this time I'm actually going to move right. So 1, 2, 3 places right. So I do the same with my decimal point. There's my decimal point. 1, 2, 3. That means I would add a 0 back here. Okay. So 1380 meters. Again, I had to go from K to U. So 1, 2, 3 spots, moved it right. Do the same thing here. The next one I'm going centimeters to decameters is what DA is, which is this one. So the died one, not drinking. So K, H, D, U, D, C, M. I'm going from centi to deca, which is that D. Okay, you see it up there. Deci is just a lowercase d. Deca is DA. Okay. I need to go from the C to the D. So 1, 2, 3 places left to get from the C to the D. So I need to do the same thing here. Here's my decimal point. 1, 2, 3 places. So that ends up with 0.820 decameters. Let's try our last one. So hectograms to grams. That's the H to the base unit. Okay. KHDUDCM. I want to go from H, so behind the H, to behind the U for base unit of grams. So H to U is 1, 2 places right. If I start with the H, I need to get to the U, so I have to go right 2 places. So I'm going to start with it here, and it's got to go right 2 places, which means I'm going to have 2 zeros there now. So 33700 grams. Okay, so that ends up being 33,700 grams. Now I'm going to need you to try these because again, I know you've seen them since like middle school, so we're going to see how you're doing with them. Obviously, I'll help you as you are working through them and you're trying to figure them out. But I'm going to have the answers on there for these 5. So you're going to try the 5 and you're going to check your answers, and then you're going to try to move on to mastery check to make sure you've got them before we continue.